Hi, my name's Anne-Marie O'Keehan and I work for the Centre for Cross-Border Studies in the Border People Project, and we aim to gather useful cross-border information, useful to people who cross the border regularly, or cross-border workers, students, people seeking healthcare, social welfare, or cross-border shoppers or consumer issues. And there's lots of other reasons for people cross the border, and they have lots of questions. So we aim to try and gather up information, as I say, that's useful and practical. And Brexit is a bit of a worry for us. We're keeping an eye on how the negotiations are going, and we're trying to figure out how on earth they're going to impact the cross-border lives that we live. So we think that it might be useful for us to have a series of short podcasts, just hitting on some of the key issues that we're keeping an eye on, so that you can keep an eye on them as well. And for today, we're simply going to start with the process. We're going to start at the beginning, the timeline, and the process that we have found ourselves stuck in. And let's have a look at the timeline. So in June 2016, we know that the UK held a referendum, and the result was that the UK would leave the European Union. The Parliament then followed up. Theresa May issued her letter of resignation, if you like, to the European Union. The UK's letter of resignation that it was seeking to withdraw its membership. So that was known as Article 50 being triggered. And there's so much jargon in this, we scratched our head a little bit at the beginning to try and figure it all out. So Article 50 being triggered was simply the letter of resignation from the UK being passed to the European Union. So once that letter was accepted by the European Union on the 29th of March 2017, then that meant that 2 years later, a 2 year time frame had been set, and the process of leaving should take 2 years. So within that time, it was supposed to allow the UK and the EU to agree how the UK would withdraw, and then also what the future might look, the future relationship might look like between the two. We know that didn't quite work out. Um, we know that in November 2018, the negotiators, the EU and the UK negotiators, agreed a deal, but it wasn't just that straightforward. So the UK negotiators and Theresa May presented it to Westminster, took it back to Parliament, and in January of this year, they rejected it. It didn't get very far. So there was quite a lot of disagreement, and there still is, in Parliament in the UK. So in March, just before the deadline to leave on the 29th of March, there were a series of votes and lots of debates trying to figure out what was the will of the House. So on the 12th of March, the withdrawal agreement was presented once again, and it was rejected again. So the House did not want the withdrawal agreement. So the very next day, they were asked to vote on whether or not they were okay to leave without a deal at all. So they rejected that as well. So they didn't want the withdrawal agreement that was on the table, but they did not want to leave without a deal. So then on the 14th of March, they were asked to vote again. Okay, is it all right for us to extend Article 50 then to replace an extension? And that would avoid a no deal situation. So they voted to extend Article 50. So that means that on the 29th of March at 11 p.m. we were supposed to have left the European Union. We didn't. That deadline was missed, and we continued to be members of the European Union. So then there was a scenario of seeking extensions, and the UK wanted a short extension, with the EU wanting a much longer extension to get some sort of consensus and agreement with the issues. So the UK wanted a shorter extension because it did not want to take part in the European Parliament elections. It did not want to send any more elected representatives to Brussels. So they had hoped to get the withdrawal agreement or tweaked agreement through before the end of before the 22nd of May, and that didn't work out. So the short extensions, or that option, that failed very quickly. And we are at the moment in a longer extension, bringing us up until the 31st of October. So at Halloween, we would cease, the UK would cease to be a member of the EU, and of course we can exit sooner. So that's the scenario we're in at the moment. So what might happen in the meantime? We have the Conservative Party conference taking place at the end of September, and that will give us a flavour of the direction that the party currently in government wishes to take the UK and the devolved regions. Now, of course, at the moment, sounds from the Conservative Party imply that a no deal is very much on the table. But don't forget that a no deal option was rejected by the majority in Parliament in March. So even though the Conservative Party are talking about a no deal scenario, they still have to get it through Parliament, and there doesn't seem to be a will for that. But again, everything is on the table. There will be one more summit, EU summit, before departure day, and then we will leave on the 31st of March. So before that happens, there are a few outcomes. The withdrawal agreement could be ratified, it could be agreed in Westminster, it could be tweaked enough, although tweaking doesn't seem to be an option from the European Parliament or the European Commission, and the negotiators say that there will be no tweaks. So as I say, the no deal is still on the table, and it is actually the legal default. So if nothing else happens, we will leave on the 31st of October without a deal. And there's also on the table, although not highly likely at the moment, that Brexit could be cancelled, and that could be done by the UK issuing a letter revoking Article 50 and taking back its intention to leave. And that would stop the process altogether. And then there is also the possibility of taking another extension. And as far as I know, and as far as we can gather, the EU would be completely opposed to an extension for no good reason. So maybe another UK election, something massive like that would have to happen before they would agree to an election, or if the UK maybe say that they would have another referendum. But it would have to be something very significant before the EU would consider another extension. So in the scenario that Westminster continues to say that a no deal is not an option, and if the withdrawal agreement gets passed, that's not just a simple, that's not the end of the story. Okay, it has to get through the UK Parliament, but it also has to get through the EU institutions. So it has to get past the European Parliament and the European Council, and that takes time. On whatever date that might happen, at 11 p.m. that evening, the UK will leave the EU and a transition period begins. So there's more jargon. A transition period, what is it? Well, that's a period of time that is supposed to give us enough time to negotiate a future trade negotiation, or future trade deal. So the negotiations will take place within the transition period. The transition period at the moment, the date that will end is 31st of December 2020. So that will finish us through from now until the end of this year and take us the whole way through next year. It can be extended for another 2 years after that, and I'd imagine that the trade negotiations will take a considerable amount of time. So an extension to a transition is probably very much on the cards if we ever did get a deal. So the transition period for our day-to-day lives, what will it mean for us? And really we shouldn't see any of the implications. We should be able to go about our daily lives without being impacted, because the EU law will continue to apply. It will be as if we were still a member. EU law will continue, free movement continues, which of course is really important on this island and between the two islands. Access to the customs union and the single market, that will continue, so that's good for our businesses and it's good for our consumers. The UK will not participate in the EU institutions. So we will be treated as a member, but we're not members. The rules will apply to us, but we won't have any say in if the rules change or if there's any negotiations to introduce new rules. We will just have to take the rules that are set by the European Union. Justice and Home Affairs policy from the EU will continue, but there will be limitations. So there will be an extension to the transition period. It is possible, and really the gist of it is that the future arrangement will be negotiated during this time frame. Now, if the transition ends, and there is no future trade agreement, then a backstop will be triggered. Or if the deal that they get doesn't meet the needs of this region, of the border between Ireland and Northern Ireland, then the backstop will be triggered. And this is the sticky bit. This is where we've gotten stuck in the negotiations. So the backstop is an add-on, if you like, to the withdrawal agreement, and it focuses solely on it's called a protocol on Ireland and Northern Ireland, and it aims to protect the unique circumstances that we have here on this island. It aims things to ensure that there's no hard border, that we're not going backwards in time, that there's no diminution of rights as set out in the Good Friday Belfast Agreement. So if you think of the equality of rights safeguarded in the agreement between Ireland, Irish citizens and British citizens in the region. North-South cooperation will be protected, so our cross-border education, cross-border healthcare, our environmental protections, and a whole range of cross-border cooperation that happens every day, cross-border transport, the things that we take for granted, that would be protected by the backstop. So our daily lives should be protected. The continuation of the common travel area, and we have a separate podcast on that because there has been developments in the common travel area which applies only to British and Irish citizens. So it's very important to know that. The single electricity market will also be protected by the backstop, so our lights will not go off. Non-regression of labour and social standards, that's really important as well. So we won't go back in time with our rights and our workers' rights. So that will safeguard the people who are living and working here in particular, and make sure that there's no social dumping in this area. So this is where we've gotten stuck in the negotiations. So if the Parliament continues with and that no deal is not an option, this is scenarios that we're looking at, the withdrawal agreement and the backstop possibly being implemented. I suppose we will continue to keep an eye on what happens with the negotiation, and we have a podcast on the withdrawal agreement. What exactly is it, and which citizens does it apply to? It doesn't apply to us all. It will safeguard the rights of some individuals and not of others. We'll have another podcast on our divergent rights, because at the moment we're all treated equally as EU citizens, but things will begin to change with Brexit as the practical implications start to impact. We'll have to understand why certain citizens are going to be treated differently from others. Of course, no deal is very much on the table, so we'll have a podcast and we'll use our crystal ball to try and uncover what that might look like for us, and that's a tricky one, although there has been quite a lot of planning from the Irish government side, from the UK government, and also from the European Commission. So we'll have a podcast about what that might be, and we'll have podcasts on lots of other things as well. So I hope that gives you a flavour for the timeline that we've caught ourselves up in with Brexit, and we need to keep our eye on the ball for what's going to happen next. So in the meantime, we'll be back soon with another podcast, but in the meantime, please keep an eye on our website, borderpeople.info. That's Anne-Marie from borderpeople.net.